Most SHRM-CP candidates either underprepare or they overprepare into burnout. SHRM published the data on this. The sweet spot for first-time pass rates is somewhere between 80 and 120 hours of study. Less than 80, scores drop. More than 200, scores drop again. Burnout is real. So the plan you follow matters more than the hours you put in. Today we're walking through the SHRM-CP 12-week study plan. The full thing, phase by phase, week by week. I'm going to show you the architectures, the mock exam timing, the counterintuitive part most plans miss. And by the way, there is something at the end of this video for anyone who watches the whole way through, so stick around. Let's start. Here's the thing, nobody tells you when you start studying for the SHRM-CP. There's a difference between studying and following a plan. Studying is reading the BASK and grinding flashcards in a random order. Following a plan is knowing exactly what to study, when to study it, and why that order matters. This plan is built around the BASK 2026 framework, 3 knowledge domains, 8 behavioral competencies in 3 clusters. The question mix on your exam day is 50% knowledge, 40% situational judgment, 10% foundational. The plan covers all of that, in the order that makes the score move. Take a look at this overview. The plan breaks into 4 phases. Phase 1 is foundation. Week 1. You take a diagnostic, you find your 2 weakest domains, and you orient yourself to the BASK 2026 framework. 1 week, that's it. Most candidates skip this, and that's why they don't know where to focus. Phase 2 is domain mastery. Weeks 2 through 5. You go deep on each of the 3 knowledge domains, paired with the relevant behavioral competency cluster, people domain plus leadership cluster, organization domain plus business cluster. The pairing is intentional. Competencies don't exist in a vacuum. Phase 3 is integration. Weeks 6 through 9. This is where the first mock exam lands and where you start blending domains together, the way the real exam does. Phase 4 is exam readiness. Weeks 10 through 12. 2 more mocks, targeted review, and the part most plans miss, which we'll get to. 4 phases, 12 weeks, 80 to 120 hours total. Let's go inside. Phase 1. Week 1 is the diagnostic week. You take a baseline assessment in untimed study mode. You read the score report at the domain level. You write down your 2 weakest knowledge areas in a notepad. That's it. You're not learning content yet. You're learning where you stand. Most candidates skip this step and dive straight into questions, which means they end up grinding the topics they're already strong at, because those feel easier, and avoiding the ones they're weak at, because those feel hard. The diagnostic prevents that. Week 1 also covers the BASK 2026 changes. Inclusive mindset replacing inclusion and diversity, plus global mindset. Analytical aptitude replacing critical evaluation. If you don't know those changes happened, you're studying old material. Now here's something worth pausing on. This plan asks for 7 to 10 hours a week for 12 weeks. If yes, the plan works for you. If not, the 8-week revision version exists for compressed timelines, and we'll come back to it. Let's keep moving. Phase 2 is where the bulk of learning happens. The rhythm is simple. Week 2 is the people domain. All 5 functional areas: HR strategy, talent acquisition, employee engagement and retention, learning and development, total rewards. Week 3 reinforces people while adding the leadership cluster. 3 competencies: leadership and navigation, ethical practice, inclusive mindset. Week 4, shifts to the organization domain. 5 functional areas: structure of the HR function, organizational effectiveness, workforce management, employee and labor relations, technology management. Week 5 reinforces organization while adding the business cluster. 3 competencies: business acumen, consultation, analytical aptitude. The pattern is intentional. Each week stacks domain knowledge on top of the relevant behavioral competencies, because that is how the exam actually presents them. The people domain doesn't exist without leadership thinking around it. The organization domain doesn't exist without business thinking around it. By the end of week 5, you've covered 10 of the 14 functional areas and 6 of the 8 competencies. Phase 3 is integration, and this is where the mock exam architecture matters. There are 3 full-length mocks in this plan. They land at week 6, week 10, and week 11. 3 mocks, 3 different jobs. Mock 1 at the end of week 6 is the diagnostic mock. You've covered the domains. You've covered most of the competencies. The first mock surfaces the gaps before you've memorized your way past them. Mock 2 in week 10 is the integration mock. By that point, you've spent 3 weeks on workplace law, ethics, and cross-domain SHRM. The second mock tells you whether the gaps from mock 1 actually closed or whether you papered over them. Mock 3 in week 11 is the readiness mock. This one is about pacing and stamina. The exam is 3 hours and 40 minutes. Most candidates have never sat that long on HR scenarios. The third mock builds the muscle. 3 mocks, 3 jobs. Most plans give you 1 mock at the end and call it done. This plan teaches you something different at each one. In between the mocks, weeks 7 through 9 focus on legal and ethical integration, cross-domain questions, timed SJI blocks, the competencies you haven't gone deep on yet. By the end of week 9, you've covered every domain, every cluster, and you've sat for 1 full-length mock under time conditions. Most candidates aren't here at this point. You will be. Phase 4 is the final stretch. Weeks 10 and 11 are mock 2 and mock 3, plus targeted review of whatever those mocks expose. But week 12 is the part that separates this plan from every other one. Week 12 is the rest week. You don't cram new material. You don't grind 100 new questions. You don't pull all-nighters. The whole week is consolidation. Light review only, 30 minutes a day, maximum. Most plans tell you to study harder the final week. The data tells you the opposite. The week before the exam is when sleep and confidence move the score, not when memorizing one more concept does. If you follow the plan for 11 weeks, week 12 is when you let your brain settle. Confirm your appointment, pack your ID, sleep 8 hours, show up rested. That's the entire week. If you don't have 12 weeks, there is also an 8-week revision plan inside the platform. Same structure, denser pacing. It's built for compressed timelines or for candidates revisiting before a retake. Both plans live inside the PrepSolution SHRM-CP product. PassPath adapts to whichever timeline you pick. Now, earlier, I mentioned there was something for anyone who watched all the way through. Use code SHRM-CP10 at checkout for 10% off. any PrepSolution SHRM-CP plan, valid through June 30th, 2026. And one more thing, complete the full plan, all 3 mocks. If you don't pass the first time, your access extends until you do. That's the pass guarantee, not a refund extended access, long enough to actually use it. So here's how to start. The free 12-week plan lives at prepsolution.com/studyplan/SHRM-CP. Same structure you saw today in your browser, no account needed. Bookmark it, print it, use it. The full platform with the adaptive Q bank, the 3 mocks, the SJI Strategy Masterclass, the analytics, and the 8-week revision plan lives at prepsolution.com/exam/SHRM-CP. Drop your start date in the comments. We're rooting for you. Exam prep, written by the professionals who passed. Good luck.